there, and welcome to the Beach House today. I'm Jerri, and I'm here with Kelly, and look who's here today.
We have a new co-host today. His name is Clark. This is my grandson. This is Rachel and Caleb's son.
He's
Isn't
the
he cute?
cutest.
He's my card holder today. This is a talented baby. He was born in August. Here.
He's so
You don't want to
cute.
hold it now? No. Okay, he's good. We do have a good show for you today. It's one of our favorite times to answer questions. And what? There.
Right on cue.
Right on cue.
Today we're going to do question and answer coming from you, but before we do that, we want to get some praise reports in. Hearing from you guys is just so exciting. It means so much to Kelly and I to hear how much this show means to you guys. So I want to read one that we got. It says, over the past few weeks of watching, I've been able to get free from past hurts I didn't realize I was holding on to. I was able to forgive others and myself and realize that I am happy with who I am because the Lord created me on purpose. Wow. You have one?
I do. Obviously, the magic of TV. Clark has come to his mommy. This praise report says, I'm finding every show confirms things I've been pressing in and interceding for. We've been believing for that. Every show we believe for that to happen. You're both such a blessing. Love how you interact with each other. You just flow together and allow each other to share in such a lovely way. Thank you.
Aww.
That blesses
Well, we
us.
really like each other.
We do like each other.
Here's the cute one. I thought I like this one. Our dogs Rosie and BB will appreciate this one. It says, as soon as your theme song comes on, both of my little dogs come running into my room and jump into my lap. I guess they recognize the song and love this time as much as I do. That's cute.
You know, that's the first time I've heard that about the dogs, but we have had videos of kids dancing and singing to our theme song. So kids and dogs love our song.
Yeah.
Here's, and you know, we really mean it when we say we love to hear from you. So keep letting us know. We really, testimonies, praise reports, your questions, even if we don't ask for questions, sometimes we may randomly throw in a question. So keep the contact going back and forth because we love that.
Yeah, you can connect with us at kellieandjerri.com. But today we're going to get to some of the questions that have come in. This one is just a random fun one. It says, do each of you have a favorite hobby? What's your favorite hobby?
I don't know.
What do you love to do?
I guess it feels like it's been so long. I'd love to go to the beach. I mean, I don't know if you could call that a hobby, but...
Beaching?
No, I guess that's not a hobby, is it? I don't know if I have a hobby anymore.
That's sad.
You get busy. I mean, it really is, but I used to have hobbies before I had a job. My job is my hobby, I guess. I need to do something about that.
Yeah.
Okay. I repent. I'm going to find my hobbiness again.
Mine is reading, jet skiing, dancing. Yeah, anything on the water.
I love to make things, though. I will say that. I love to create something, like decorate a room or create a wreath or something. I enjoy Christmas time because you just get to, creative.
Oh, creative.
I mean, the crafty may be fine for some, but I don't know. It just sounds like popsicle sticks or something. Not that kind, yeah. But I mean, I'm not dogging that, but that's not my kind of creativeness.
Okay, here's another question. It says, what are your favorite verses and or books of the Bible and why?
Are you you answer that one?
Oh, well, my favorite go-to book of the Bible is Psalms. I mean, I get David. I so get him. So that's my go-to. I've got my book of Psalms right on my nightstand, and I read the Psalms often. But I love Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, all of those in the Passion Translation. I love the Word.
I do too. I love Psalms. There's so much in there. And we both love the Passion Translation. And, you know, I really enjoy reading the book of John in the Passion Translation. Book of John, the Gospels, but I have to tell you, I gave you one last Valentine's.
Yeah.
The Passion Translation has come out with harmony of the Gospels. So it's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all in one story. It's amazing. You sit there and read it like a novel, really. And you see so much with the detail from all the different Gospels into one narrative.
It's so good.
It's just like meeting Jesus face to face. So that's really something that you should get a hold of.
Yeah. So here's a fun question. Do each of you prefer to shop in a store or online? What do you do?
I don't really have as much time to go to a store, but I like that because I like to see things, feel things, look at things. It's very disappointing to get something and it's like, oh, that's not what it looked like when I looked at it online. So I don't like that. But I like both for the ease, you know. And if I know it's a brand name and I know the quality, then buying it online is so easy. I have to say I'm an Amazon friend, so.
I'm a bargain shopper girl. I do cheap.
No, you like masses amounts of things per dollar. That's not cheap.
I'm good. And
smart.
It's the way you wear it, though, that makes you look like $1 million.
That's right, baby. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Okay, it's my turn to ask a couple.
Okay.
Okay, how do you recommend dealing with betrayal from family?
Oh. Why?
I guess betrayal from, I guess it'd be the
family.
same, right?
Yeah.
Forgive?
Yeah. I mean, it's a choice you have to make to walk in love. And you know, I've said it before on the show is, you know, when you've been hurt or betrayed by someone, you got to take that pain to Jesus.
Yeah, you do.
You know, every time it comes up inside of you, you got to take it to Jesus. And so it's a process. That's something you got to walk through. But knowing that Jesus never leaves you, never betrays you, never forsakes you, and that He's always there. That's what's walked me through the darkest times of my life when I felt completely alone, is knowing that He's never going to leave me.
And He's really the only way to forgive them too. Mm-hmm. I think too, people, and I've said it before, so I'm just going to say it again. You don't have to hang out with them. Mm-hmm. Even if they're family, draw your boundary. Like, say, you're not putting anything on them. You're just saying, this is what I'm going to do. You know, as long as your behavior is this, then I won't do blah, blah, blah. Make those decisions and then be firm about them, and then you can love people easier too. But if sometimes when they're family, it's not like you can get away from them. But so you really need firm boundaries. But some people, you just don't have friendship and fellowship, not out of anger, but it's okay.
A healthy place
of drawing a line where I don't subject myself or my family to that behavior. And then they can change. If they really want your fellowship, they'll change and come back.
Yeah.
So I think that's
You have
that's
another
good
one
advice.
you want me to
Yes,
go?
let me do one more.
Okay.
What do you have to say about, I want to do this one because I want to answer it and then I want to hear what you say. What do you have to say about someone who takes and posts excessive selfies? We've talked about this
Someone
before.
really asked us this question.
They did. You know what? Really, honestly, boundaries. Who cares? Don't follow. Unfollow. Unfollow. There's a little button beneath everybody's name. It says unfollow. So click on that with a smile and don't feel like you're going to hurt their feelings because they don't care. If they're posting selfies, they probably don't care what you think. So, no, really, you shouldn't care because that's their business. So you let them do what they do and you unfollow them and you do what you do, and then you can be friends or happy with them because you're not watching their excessive selfies. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree completely, and I've unfollowed several people because I'd be like, ugh, why is she? And I'm like, nope, Jerry, you're going to unfollow so you don't even have to go there.
That's right. There's this phrase called none ya, right? None ya business.
Yeah.
Just let them do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And don't watch it.
So here's a deeper question. Okay. It says, how do you get back to trusting the Lord when you feel like you can't understand what He's doing at all? How do you fellowship with Him when delays just there are like a big elephant in the room?
Well, fellowship with Him. If you don't understand Him, you may not actually be fellowshipping with Him. Fellowshipping with Him brings understanding. So I think you have to say, Lord, have I been fellowshipping with you, or have I been doing something else? I heard Bill Johnson say that, I think it was Bill Johnson. Anyway, he was talking about waiting on the Lord. And he said, when you're really waiting on the Lord, then if something doesn't show up right away, that's not a deal to you, because you're not waiting on him to do that thing. That's not fellowship. Waiting on the Lord is like a servant, like being in his presence and waiting, like being with him and serving him and loving him and worshiping him, not waiting on the Lord as in waiting on him to do something. And when you're really serving him and loving him and being in his presence to fellowship, not to come in his presence and get that thing, that is actually idolatry when you just do that constantly. I mean, sometimes we are like, help me, Jesus. That's coming in his presence because you need that thing right now. I get that. But I'm talking about that shouldn't be your everyday, because that's not fellowship. I mean, I don't call you up all the time and say, hey, Jerri Ann, I need something. Hey, Jerri Ann, I need something. Hey, Jerri Ann, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. That's not fellowship. But if I'm expecting to know you or understand you, and that's all I'm doing is bringing you my junk.
Right.
So I think, I don't know, what do you think?
No, I agree with everything you said.
Waiting on the Lord, you lose sight of that thing, really, when you're in his presence, and you really do begin to understand him, and you'll begin to understand what he's needing you to do or alter so he can meet that request.
And his timing is right on time.
It's always right.
It's always right on time. There's certain things I'm like waiting and praying and like when, but when I get my mind off of the when of when it's going to happen and just trust him, just go, he knows the right time. He's got the answer. He's got the final say-so. Then I can just rest in that fact.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then, always I talk about Martha and Mary, but Martha, I'm sure, felt like she was waiting on the Lord. I am making all this food for you, and I don't understand why you're just letting her sit there and make her get up and come help me. Well, she wasn't even on the same track with the Lord because she wasn't fellowshipping with him. She was just doing stuff. So I think go study that again, and that Mary and Martha, and just see if you identify with one or the other, and then what you want to identify with is Mary. There's a great book. One of the things we like to do on the question and answer shows is give you book recommendations. So some of them we may have here, and some of them we may not. We only have a couple here today, but there is a great book called Having a Mary Heart, M-A-R-Y, in a Martha World. That will flip your thinking around. Have you ever read it?
I haven't.
That would be you would enjoy that book. It's a very easy read and really enlightening.
Yeah, sounds good.
It is.
Okay, I'm going to throw this question to you.
Okay.
What's the best way to get over a divorce and step into what God has for you?
What I just said. Did you know I was going to say that? No, I really, let me back it up one step. I've been there a couple of times, 3 times, in fact, 3 divorces. I would say the first couple, I was like, okay, I forgive them, moving on, blah, blah, blah. And the Lord helped me, and he didn't really stop me from doing that. I mean, I believe that he helped me get over it, and I just got my sights on the future. And that's not bad. I did that, and it worked and all that, but it didn't change me. So when it came up in my face again, I was like, Lord, what's wrong with me? Talk to me about me. And I stopped throwing blame around and stopped, trying to just forget about it, trying to shove something under the rug, just thinking, well, I'm not at fault. That in any situation, always, this is what I've learned, ask the Lord, what can I do? You don't always have to say what's wrong with me, but it's not a bad question, because none of us are there yet. And if you think, well, I think I'm pretty good. Well, maybe you are, but have you gotten to the height of the height? If after a divorce, I promise you, even if you did it and you were the one that was at fault, or if you didn't, there's some hurt in there, and there's some words probably that have been spoken or actions taken that have done some wounding. And so really stopping and letting him heal you.
Yeah.
I think counseling is good. Don't you?
Yeah. Well, I would say the best way to get over a divorce is don't jump into another relationship. That's the worst thing you can do, is put a Band-Aid over what you just went through and try to, find somebody else. I think it's like taking some time to let the Lord deal with your heart examine you and walk through that healing process before you get in a relationship with somebody else. I think it's important.
It is important. And then I'm going to ask my own question because, no, y'all didn't ask it, but I'm just going to do a follow-up to that thought. This time around, so I really made some changes in my own life, and I like it. Like, I like me. I wouldn't go back to the old me for anything in the world. You couldn't talk me. Would you?
No.
But how do I now not go into something into another relationship that's not from the Lord? Well, He had me put some real fail-safes in my life, and this is what they are. I will not. So, if you're in love with me, you need to know this. I'm just kidding.
You just said that.
I just said that. Okay, and please don't send me flowers if I don't know you. All right?
You're
Stop.
so funny.
Somebody sent me flowers.
You are so funny. You're going there.
Well, it's wrong. Romantically flowers, okay? Don't do it to anybody. If you don't know them, don't do it.
It's stalker-ish.
It is stalker-ish, so I'm just saying. Okay, so I did go there.
You did.
I may edit this out later. I don't know. We'll see.
No, we're good.
Okay, well, anyway, it's good advice. So, I forgot what I was saying.
I don't know what you were saying. Okay, you're going to ask your own question.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I am not going to get involved with anybody without seeing them worship for a year. You can't fake that. These are just some things the Lord put in my heart. And then getting them around your family for a length of time, not just a short whirlwind thing. That's just not happening for Kelly anymore. Because, there's a lot to protect. There's a lot to watch over. There's a lot to make sure that somebody is who they say they are, that it is of God, that it's His plan, that it's just not a nice chemistry, is not the litmus test.
Yeah.
There's some things I've said it, my family, all those things. So I just think that's good advice to not go into something out of a place where you're not healthy and ready and God's saying it's time.
Yeah, I think that leads into our next question. Someone's saying, how do you not compromise when you're lonely? And I can answer that one. I've been more guilty of that than you. But I don't think, first of all, I have a standard in what I've said in my life and what I want in my next relationship. And it's based on Ephesians 3:20, exceeding abundantly above all I can ask, think, dream, imagine, pray for. So really, if it doesn't fall into that category, then I don't want it. But I have got lonely, or someone asked me out to dinner. I'm like, okay, my kids are gone for the weekend. I'll go. But I knew they weren't the one. There's no need to settle or compromise.
Yeah.
God knows the right timing. And if you're feeling that lonely feeling right now, the person that asked this question, it's just kind of a wave. You just kind of ride the wave and you come out on the other side and you're okay. There's moments I'm like, I wish I had but
call a friend,
I've
go
got
do
good
something.
Friends. I can go out with my girlfriends. I have a good life and it's fulfilled and full with the people in my life, and I know at the right time God will bring someone. Don't compromise.
Amen.
Because when you compromise, then you've settled and then you've caused a delay in your life. So speaking from experience, don't compromise.
Go to a women's conference or something. Go out, go get with Jesus and talk to Him. I really find that alleviates some of the loneliness, just having Him as your friend. And I know that sounds trite, but it's true. So spending that time with Him is important. That was good. But I'll tell you one thing about the list. How many of you have a list? I don't know. This is not intending to be a singles advice show, but this is the last thing maybe we'll say about it. But your list, look at your list, and anything that Satan can, what's the word I'm looking for? If he can duplicate it or make a substitute. There's a word. I don't know. I can't think about it.
An imitation?
Imitation of that thing. Just mark it off. And ask the Lord what to put on your list. Ask the Lord, what do I put that only you can do? And think like that.
That's good.
Because Satan would love to take your list and send you a
Counterfeit.
A counterfeit. That was the word. Thank you.
That's the word, counterfeit.
Thank you.
So going back to this one about trusting the Lord, what about delays? How, even in your life, how have you dealt with a delay? Like something you're praying for and believing God for, going back to that trust thing. When a delay, like why God is this taking so long?
Yeah.
Speak to that person who's sitting there going, okay, I've been waiting for this answered prayer and it just feels like it's being delayed.
Well, I think you can go back to the word that says, that sometimes we ask and we ask amiss. Sometimes we don't ask. Sometimes we're just like, I want this done, but we didn't ask him for anything. I realized that one day. I was like, I wanted my healing, but I really hadn't asked him. I just started claiming it, but I didn't ask him. I didn't ask him to do that thing. I didn't ask him for that thing, and I didn't roll the care of it over onto him. So you really do have to get with him, give him the problem, but then again, you got to give him the problem, because if you're, I'm trying to think of an instance, but there's times when you are so like refusing to acknowledge a problem, but yet you want the Lord to take care of it. But I've said this before on the show, own it for a moment, like, okay, I don't like this about me, and I don't want it in my life anymore, but I acknowledge that this has been in my life, and I'm putting it down right now, and I'm giving it to you. I'm giving you debt. Not acknowledging that it was mine, but you can't give it to him if you don't own it for a moment and say, here, Lord. So there may be things like that. There may be things you want that, again, it's a miss. It's not the right thing for you. So go to him and ask him. If your heart will condemn you sometimes. I think only really you can go to him and let Jesus diagnose that thing. Lord, talk to me about why. Talk to me about, is there something I need to do, or do I just need to stand on your word? Because I'll keep standing because I trust you. If you find your trust fading, then you need to get back in the word and let your faith develop. And I think continuing to hear the word.
Yeah, well, Galatians 6:9 comes to mind, that there's a set time. Don't grow weary in well-doing, but in that set time, you're going to reap a harvest. So that's what keeps me going when I feel like there's a delay in something I'm believing God for, that I know, nope, there's a set time. And if I don't get weary, I don't give up. My dad has preached that my whole life. Savelles aren't quitters. No. And I'm saying that to you today, too. You're not a quitter. So if there's something you're believing God for right now, and you're just like, when is this going to happen? Just stay focused and know that there's a set time on the end of this thing. But you got to keep moving towards it. Don't look to the left or the right. Look forward, that God has a set time for that thing you're believing God for. That's what keeps me going. Is there's a set time. My hope, my expectation is in that.
And if you're really in it with him, I can tell you that I haven't had every prayer answered. He's been miraculous my whole life. But I haven't had every prayer answered. But everything, every turn through everything, he has always put me on top. Always. Hasn't he you? Mm-hmm. It's like I always end up better than where I was at. So there's nothing unanswered that I have regrets about. Do you?
Mm-mm.
I don't either. So I have one here that I think is good for you. I was just asked to take over the leadership of our women's small group. Any words of wisdom? You've built such a great ministry and done so much just independently of anybody else.
Well, I started in a small group. I had home Bible studies and book clubs in my home. And I prepared and took that seriously, I'd have a few girls come, but I would be prepared. And I love creating an intimate place for women to, just be able to share and stuff. But take it serious that it's part of your calling, that God's called you to do this. Prepare and be ready for it. And just flow in what that gift that God's put down on the inside of you, and take it serious. It's a calling that God's given you to help other people.
And I think that was along the lines of what I was thinking when I read that question, because don't think
don't despise
it's routine.
Small beginnings
yes.
either.
You can't imagine I mean, I don't know about you, but I can't imagine either of our dads showing up to preach
Just winging it.
on an evening, and they were out golfing that day and hanging out, had dinner, and show up at church to preach.
Yeah.
Never.
Well,
they're out of it. You might as well not even talk to them that day.
Yeah, I would have a few girlfriends over, but the day before I was preparing as if I was going to speak to thousands of people. I was prepared for that.
And they always expect Jesus to move through you, to give you words, to give you power, to heal people, to set people free, to bring freedom. Always expect that. Always expect to have the word someone needs, or someone else to have the word that someone else needs. Expect miracles.
Yeah, that's good.
Those are good questions.
That was good. That was fun. So, what is our challenge today to our viewers?
I don't know.
I don't have it down here.
You're the challenge. You're giving the challenge.
I don't know what my challenge is. My challenge would be like, go to Jesus with your questions. These were fun, but I mean, that's who he is. You know, I talk to him about everything. Really, I do. I talk to him about intimate things, little things. I think go to Jesus.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
No, I think that's good, and I'll add a tail end on that. Get in the Word. If you're not getting in the Word, he is the Word. And if you're like, well, that seems so, like, I don't understand it or whatever. Think about it this way. The Bible says this is Jesus. So get in here to meet him.
And get an easy translation.
Start with the Passion.
Yeah.
I promise you'll be like a different person in 6 months. And then the Lord will lead you to books. He really would, didn't he? He led me to things that I needed during seasons when I needed those things. And I just brought 2 today that I've found really good. Is any of the boundary books will help you with whatever.
You've always talked about these. You love them.
But there's so many of them. It's Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. John Townsend. Get on Amazon and they have lists. They can, every topic, even how to deal with your mom, or how to do this, or how to deal with your kids, grandkids.
Your co-host?
No. Yeah, it's the red one. It's like everybody else falls under the red one. But here's a new one I found, is how to lead when you're not in charge.
Oh.
I know. And it shows you how we get into this rut of victimized thinking where we think everybody else is keeping us back. Or if only I was this, then I could do that. So this is a real eye-opener, sort of a game-changer book. He worked with Andy Stanley. It still does, I think. Anyway, so yeah.
We're out of time.
How did that go by so
don't know.
fast? I hope we all got as much out of it as we wanted to put into you.
We speak blessings over your life today in Jesus' name, that you have an awesome day and that you know how loved and special you are to the Father God. So we'll see you again real soon here at the Beach House. Have a great day.